I believe that there is a tactic, a strategy, a satanic military science, if you will, on how the enemy seeks to obtain our joy. A lot of us are trying to hear from God, praying to God to give us confirmation about a thing, but we are naive in this particular area that yes, heaven has an assignment for your life. Heaven has an assignment for my life, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but not only does heaven have an assignment for your life, hell does too. Hell has an assignment for your life, and the assignment of hell is to burglarize you of your peace, of your joy, of your contentment, of your passion, of your zeal, of your relational intelligence and faith. Okay? This is low on the radar and is not discussed enough. But the devil does not always seek to take our joy by demonic oppression. He doesn't always do it by demonic assault, storm, or trial. The way that the enemy seeks to obtain your joy and your prayer life is he wants to get you to be exhausted. Exhausted, tired, weary, faint-hearted, because he knows one cannot be continuously mentally exhausted and spiritually aware at the same time. Because prolonged tiredness creates a soul infection. Now, I'm not just speaking to you, I'm giving you religious rhetoric. I have been a partaker of this myself, first in the natural, which taught me a principle in the spiritual. Whenever I allow life to consume me with its demands, with its responsibilities, with adulting, whenever I allow life to consume me with its demands, and I have not got the proper amount of replenishment, refueling, or rest, Jerry gets sick. This right here taught me a very dynamic principle because it lets me know busyness without replenishment weakens my immune system. Busyness without replenishment weakens my immune system. And that old serpent has gotten so smart where he recognizes, I'm not one who's trying to knock them out in round one. I would like to ascribe to you that the devil does not seek to immediately knock you out. He seeks to wear you out. He knows that you are too strong. You are entirely too strong for me to take your faith. But what I want to give you is exhausted faith, because if I can give you exhausted faith, you'll have faith with the cold. He wants us to be weary so that we don't feel like praying. We don't feel like seeking his face. Whenever we walk around exhausted and malnourished, please hear me. Whenever we walk around exhausted and malnourished, we will always exchange our birthright for some stew. And could it be the reason that some of us are so exhausted is because you're trying to handle weights that's not even your responsibility? This is a God weight, not your weight. You're allowing their trauma to become your chaos. You're allowing their dysfunction to create you to have insomnia. And God's like, okay, listen, maybe the reason that you keep losing fights that you think that you should be winning is because God is obligated to help you win fights that matter to him, not fights that matter to you. All right, we're about to get in trouble. God cares about fights that give him glory, not fights that give you glory. So you could be fighting to try to get your name out there. You're like, man, I want to do something to get well known. And God's like, that don't even matter to me. Being known by me is what I call being well known. You could be fighting to get a bigger platform. And God's like, okay, that don't even matter to me. You're doing this to try to get accepted. But I have accepted you before they ever rejected you. That don't even matter to me. You're trying to engage in things to get people to notice you and to feel validated. And God's like, that don't even matter to me. What I want you to do is seek my face. What I want you to do is spend time with me. I don't want you to come to me just because you want my hand. I want you to come to me because you're seeking my heart. I want you to seek my face. I don't want you to have a have-to heart. I want you to have a want-to heart. When you have a have-to commitment, when I answer what you're asking me to give you, you no longer will come to me because you're only seeking me for treatment. You're not seeking me for relationship. You're fighting to get more money, and God's like, why would I give you more money? If I give you more, I'm going to see you less. We're not talking now. But if we were to talk to me more, if we were to spend time with me more, if you would appreciate the season of being processed, because I'm not punishing you, I'm developing you, I'm trying to equip you with all the tools necessary so that you will not have a premature destiny. You're asking for me to do things, but you don't even spend time with me to seek the things that I'm after. If you seek my face, then I will put my hand on your gift. and your gift will truly make room for you. Then I will begin to speak to you and you will hear my voice. Some of us don't recognize that God is speaking, but the reason we can't hear him speaking is because he's not speaking our preference. We're going to him hoping that he says this one thing versus saying, God, whatever you want, whatever your will, whatever. That's the word that I want to get on your spirit on tonight. Whatever it may be, whatever you desire, whatever your will is, wherever you want to take me, whoever I got in a relationship with, whatever place that you go, whatever. And the devil has learned, if I can get them to be exhausted, if I can get them to be tired and weary, they'll be saying that they're seeking God, but they're really not seeking God. They're really doing something out of a ritualistic behavior. They don't really seek him because they want his heart. They seek him because they want his hand. And God is saying, I want people who wants me for me. And if I say no, you'll still trust me. When I think for some of us, sometimes God has said no and we're still praying and asking. God is not speaking. He has. We just don't like what he said. I mean, many times God is speaking. He's just not speaking what we prefer. And since he's not speaking what we prefer, we think he's silent. I want you to consider how dangerous it is when you and I walk around hungry, because when we walk around hungry, everything begins to look good. He looks good, but he's bad for you. That seems like an opportunity, but it's really a trap playing dress up. This seems like it's God, but it's really something that you're just consuming because you're walking around malnourished. I want you to consider how dangerous it is for us to walk around unfed and exhausted. I would like to say, peradventure, this is the reason some of us are still in the club scene, because you're exhausted and you're spiritually malnourished. Peradventure, this is why some of us are in a destiny detouring relationship and you know that this is not God's will and you're trying to find a big red flag because you're overlooking all the small red flags that God has already extended to you because you're relationally hungry. You're relationally hungry and you're exhausted from waiting. You're exhausted from waiting. And the devil knows I know how to play on that exhausted state, because if they have an exhausted state, they're going to have exhausted ears. They're going to have exhausted ears, so they can't hear right because they can't think right. And the reason they're not thinking right is because they haven't been fulfilled with the bread of heaven.